Hi, my name is Ruth Reed. I'm a criminal barrister based at 3 Temple Gardens Chambers, and I'm also the founder of the Counsel network. Counsel is a network for anybody interested in becoming a lawyer. We provide networking, advice, and resources and support groups for aspiring barristers and solicitors.
Hi there, my name is Alexa Norris and I'm the president of Cream Mobile Society. It was an absolute honour and privilege to re-host the Inclusion Networking event with Cake and Counsel for the second year in a row. Cake and Counsel and Cream Mobile Society is acutely aware of how the pandemic has completely affected how students can network, take part in work experience placements and also mini villages. Therefore, we decided to take on the very great task of making the Inclusion Networking event online this year. This would not have been possible without the support of Francis Taylor Woodley, Brickcourt Chambers and Tamfield Chambers. This year we had 50 barristers and over 150 students in 50 different breakout rooms. We moved the barristers into 5 different rooms over the course of 50 minutes to ensure that students had the chance to network and meet 5 different barristers.
He did nail me at about the age of 17 and asked me what I wanted to do in my future. I mean, quite a big question. And of course, I had a ready-made answer, and I said, "Daddy, I want to play football. I'm going to play football. I'm going to be a professional footballer." And at that stage, difficult to believe because some of you may have seen me either live or somewhere on a picture. Difficult to believe. I was very quick. I was nimble. I was extremely skillful, and I knew where the goal was. So I was confident I would be a professional footballer, earning lots of money and being very, very happy. So when I landed this with my dad, there was a silence whilst he digested my ambition. And like any good African father, he was obviously very willing to negotiate and to make sure that he listened to me and we had an exchange and we arrived at an answer that was conciliatory. So after pausing, he said, "No, you'll do law." And I thought that was slightly provocative, but of course, being a good African son, I kept my own counsel. I debated it with him for about 10 or 20 seconds, and then I said, "Okay, I'll be doing law." Where the hell he got the idea that I should be doing law from, I had no idea. But he later told me that he'd read a school report when I was age 13, where some teacher had said this young man should be a lawyer. And he'd hung on to that thought and of course sprung this on me when I was 17. So I did law badly at Hull University, came out of that and then decided, look, what am I going to do from here? And at that stage, I really only thought the bar. I thought if you were a lawyer, really, you were a barrister. That's the only kind of lawyer you can be. So I came to the bar. And I can tell you now, I have not for one moment regretted my father's rather autocratic advice. He wasn't dictatorial by nature, but on this issue, he was absolutely right. The thing I wanted to say to you, and I just think it's really very important. It's the bar. It's funny. I was at a bar council. I was at a bar conference where a Supreme Court judge, Lord Sumption, was talking about his career, and he said the bar is where the magic is. And I think he really captured it. No disrespect to solicitors. Of course, solicitors do very important work, and they have very fulfilling careers. And in many ways, it's a safer course to go. But the bar is where the magic is. You're self-employed. You pretty much run your own ship. Your destiny is to some extent in your own hands. For me, no office politics. And I know when I'm in court or doing a case, I know that it is down to me. Important to treat everybody with respect. It's from the usher, from everybody you see, treat them with respect. You never know when you're going to come across them again. Hone your advocacy skills, and that is both written and oral. Make sure that you're the best at it, because that's what we do at the bar. Immerse yourself in your work hard. I know it sounds basic, but it really matters. If you've got an ego, lose it before you get to the bar, because it's not particularly healthy to walk around with your head in the cloud. Somebody will, I'm afraid, trip you up. Take time to understand what your clients need and want. Very, very important. Never give less than 100%. Get involved. By that, just spread your wings. Make sure you join things that look like you'd enjoy them, and make your presence felt. So don't be shy of joining committees. Don't be defined by law. Make sure you're a rounded person. So just don't end up in a book all the time. You might want to check out BME Legal. You may want to check out the Bar Counsel Social Mobility Scheme, and also Pathways to Law is excellent. Aim Higher is excellent. Have a look at what they do. The Black Barristers Network, brilliant. Of course, Counsel. If I didn't say that, I'd never be invited back.
Now, trans people at the bar are even rarer. I've no idea how many zeros there would be after the point and before the number, because there are only two of us currently. It's me and Caroline Harrison. There is one non-binary barrister who joined Chambers after pupillage only this year. So we're pretty tiny in numbers, even more. The only way you stay in the Guinness Book of Records is by being the first person to do something. And I was really annoyed because I hesitated in my transition 10 years ago, and Caroline Harrison beat me by 6 months in terms of being the first. So I have to say that I'm the first person to transition in practice at the discrimination bar. So that's my USP, if there is one. And I had to make a decision as to whether to make it part of my practice. And for the Star Trek fans amongst you, Mr. Data at one point faces a difficult decision, and Captain Picard asked him how long he cogitated over the decision. And he said 0.37 seconds, which for an android is an age, apparently. And it was a bit like that for me. I'm a discrimination barrister, and I'm a very out trans person, and not every trans person wishes to be out to that extent. And I think that's something people need to understand. But it was pretty clear that it wasn't something I could hide about myself, and I might as well make it part of my practice. And I've done that in both directions. I act as often for respondents defending trans claims as trans people making trans claims. And I do lots of advice for organisations who want to understand trans and want to try and get it right. And that's a great privilege to do. But I wasn't ever going to be a lawyer. Although my dad knew, rather like Oba's dad, that I didn't like losing an argument. I thought I was initially going to be a scientist. And my first degree is chemistry from Imperial, pretty much down the line scientist. But I worked for them for a year and decided I wanted to be a people person. And I joined British Railways I'd been plain with my employer. I told them I was trans. I was going to transition at some stage, didn't quite know when. And the area manager in the area I applied to move to, next job up, decided that I might do something unusual during the period when I would be working for him. And so he decided that the second best candidate should have the job and not me. And I wasn't very happy about that, and nor were British Railways personnel department. It turned into a big fight. Went all the way as far as the British Railways board. And the answer was, well, trans is okay for the odd signalman and train driver, but not for a manager who's right out in the public eye. So you're not having the job. And we've had to think about this, and we really don't think you're going to get promoted again. We can find a nice little job for you at regional headquarters where no one would have to see you. That's what they said. The fuses blew, and I got very annoyed, and so did the personnel department. And they were shaping up for a fight internally. And at that point, I was charged with a disciplinary offence that included a criminal act, and sent home, suspended, sent home for 8 weeks. And they called me in at the end of 8 weeks and they said, gosh, you're quite right. There was nothing in any of this, but we can't put you back in your job because everybody saw you marched out. And at that point, fuses blew. I don't have a very clear memory for about 3 months. Some very good friends look after me. I'm partly French, so I went to France to sell French property for a year, got my head straight. And amazingly, reappeared in the UK with a burning desire to be a discrimination barrister. I can't imagine why that was. In fact, looking back on it, I think it was two things. One, it was getting my own back on society in general. And the other was proving that I wasn't worthless in the way that that organisation had decided that I was worthless. It's been a privilege to transition at the bar amongst colleagues who I have great respect for, and judges who treat you with respect if you treat them with respect. If you can laugh at yourself as well, if there's a tip, be yourself, be the best, and have a wonderful life at the bar.
It's funny when they ask me what university I attend, and my response is, not Queen Mary University. Hi, I'm Sarah. I attended the Cake and Counsel and Queen Mary Bar Society event last year in 2020 and this year in 2021. There are three main things in which I find invaluable when I attend these events. Firstly, I make connections. Secondly, I gain opportunities. And thirdly, frankly, have a good time. Last year when I attended the event, I gained a mentor and a marshalling experience. This year when I attended, I gained tips and tricks on completing my pupillage applications. I just want to thank both organisations because I don't go to Queen Mary University yet. They've given me the opportunity to take part in such an event. I'd recommend everybody to take part next year, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
The feedback has been overall positive this year, which means that if we cannot conduct the event in person next year, we have the option to do it virtually. Thank you so much to everyone who took part, and we're so grateful for all of your support.